Say hello to the Land Rover Defender 110. Hiding out in the garage right now. We're going to be spending a week living with it to see what it's like. That's a pretty cool puddle lamp. It's got the entire front outline of the Defender. Start her up. I drove this newest generation Defender 110 when it first came out. My friend Preston bought one and we did a video together. But now a couple years later, I'm finally getting to spend some quality time with one, living with one, see what it's like day to day, just a more long-term experience with it. So for some terrible reason, it's like snowing right now, and also there's a tank. That's random. All right, we're gonna be home for a little bit, so let's put this in the garage. Reverse, pulls up all these different camera angles. So the main backup camera there, but take a look here on the left side. We have the on-road mode. What does off-road look like? Oh, it pulls up information on locking differentials and things like that. On-road, can I go to different angles? Look at, oh, it's changing. This is like a wide angle rear view. But if you put it in drive, you then get even more angles, and you can do the 360 view where it renders the Defender from the outside, and you can pan through. I don't think... Okay, so it's just swiping between set angles. It's not like the other 360 renders you can like swipe live around the vehicle. But this is still pretty cool. Definitely would be useful like off-roading and things like that. The other thing to be cognizant of is there is a spare tire back there, right? A full-size wheel. So it's not just a bumper. You have even more of an extension. So I don't want to back that into the wall. Oh, you see that warning right there? The rear tire is probably getting close to something. There we go. That is parked. Good to go. All right, I'll probably be back in a bit. I might need to go run some errands, grab some groceries for dinner, but we're gonna go inside and get some work done. Off to run some errands. We'll take the Defender. It's getting dark out now, so you can really see the definition on this puddle lamp. It's pretty cool. We have a little Defender there on the dash. Good evening. Thank you very much. Wireless CarPlay pulls up. Oh, my phone is dying. Wireless charging pad is right here. Just grabbing a couple things from Costco. Go ahead and open the tailgate. Always return your shopping carts. Be a good human being. I usually don't like silver cars, but right now, with this lighting and the black accents, this Defender 110 actually looks pretty cool. See a lot of that metallic depth to the paint. Definitely looks cool. Here is something I didn't think about. If you back into a garage space or a parking spot and you have a normal opening tailgate, it's really hard to open it just like a little bit. But with a side opening like this on the Defender, I can just open a little bit, make sure it doesn't hit anything, and then reach in and grab my stuff. Definitely easier than trying to like go underneath a normal tailgate. That looks pretty cool in the garage too. We have the A8L, the Defender, and the Z06 is hiding back there. Good morning. It's another cold one today. Cold and gloomy in Michigan, but we have to go run some more errands. So first things first, cold start with the Defender. Whew. So as a mild hybrid, it doesn't start up like a kind of a conventional powertrain you're used to. It just kind of whirs into life. It's actually a really smooth startup sequence, very similar to the GLE AMG that I was just driving, which also has a 48-volt mild hybrid system. So speaking of Mercedes AMG, I came to an interesting realization yesterday after spending a day with the Defenders. I think I like it more than the $140,000 GLE 63S AMG Coupe, which is a weird thing to say. I think it's, again, initial impressions is this is just a little more relaxed fun. The AMG is a absurdly impressive machine, right? But it's trying so hard. It's trying to be the max attack, max performance crossover you can possibly have. It rides much more firm. It's trying to corner flat, all the power, all the performance. But this is just a little more laid back, right? The suspension has more compliance. It's just fun. And we can go here, we can go there. A little bit's the seating position, the vantage point as you're driving it, and so forth. Again, initial impressions of the Defender. I'm liking it. This is a good thing, but these heated seats are so strong. My butt's actually getting too warm. Let me turn it down a little bit. That one. There you go. These dials are pretty cool. So if you press this one, the right side turns into fan speed. And if I press this one here, it's for adjusting drive modes, and those pop up here on the screen. So we're currently in comfort. Come back. Comfort. Grass, gravel, snow. Mud ruts. We have a copy of the window sticker here, so let's take a look at some of the pricing on this 2023 Defender 110 SE finished in Hakuba Silver over Vintage Tan/Ebony. So this has the 6-cylinder, which is 395 horsepower and 406 pound-feet of torque, 8-speed transmission, all-wheel drive obviously. Base price of $69,300, but this one here is option up to almost 90 grand, $89,740. So that's about 20 grand in options on this thing. We have the cold climate pack, the off-road pack, the towing pack, family comfort pack, air suspension pack, and then a bunch of standalone options. Black exterior pack, extended leather upgrade, adaptive cruise control, head-up display, black contrast roof, 20-inch wheels, the walnut veneer just keeps going, 18-way heated and cooled memory front seats. That's a lot of different options. Almost 20 grand in options, so just under 90 grand for this one. MPG is 18 city, 23 highway, 20 combined. I am not even hitting that city one. I think I'm doing like 17, so maybe we'll try to drive a little more efficiently. Warranty is 4-year, 50,000 mile new vehicle limited warranty. We are heading off to Royal Oak in Birmingham, Michigan for the day. I'm bringing lunch for my girlfriend, and then we're gonna go hang out of office garage, take the Defender over there, do some editing and work. And maybe play on a racing sim, because they have a racing sim. Good morning. Thank you. Is it morning still? No, it's afternoon. Oh, no, it's still morning. The days do feel longer in a good way. Like, you can be so much more productive when you wake up early, right? So, like, got up at 7 o'clock, and I feel like I've already done so much, which is why I was like, it's not morning. It's like 2 in the afternoon. No, it's morning. It is indeed morning. Here we observe Steve's garage with multiple, maybe semi-functioning vehicles in various states of disassembly. Hi, Steve. Welcome to the Defender. Ooh, actually, I really like this thing. You know what I was just thinking on my way over here is like, I kind of want like I want to try the V8 90. V8 90 would probably be a lot of fun, little 2-door.
Oh yeah, because this is the 110. So this is the long wheelbase. This is the 110. And this is the inline 6.
Correct, mild hybrid.
Non-turbo?
It's turbo.
Okay.
And then there's the 130, which is like the big one, which kind of looks, the 130 proportions get kind of funky. It's like looks a little too extended. So I think the 90s.
Is this the BMW?
No, I think it's theirs. They developed their inline 6. I actually haven't done all the research yet. It's a mild hybrid, but okay. I like this thing. It's a lot of fun. What are you working on? BMW things?
Drift car things.
Is that a drift? That's not a drift car. Where's the drift car?
That's one of the drift cars.
The BMW?
That's the other drift car.
Oh, the Mustang.
Yeah.
Is the Corvette working?
Yeah, that works.
Oh, it's working. Where's the Lamborghini?
In storage.
Oh, sad. All right, so we're currently in access height mode, which is like convenient for getting in and out. So take a quick look at that. Now I'm gonna raise it all the way up and let's see what, you already pressed it? Oh, is it going up? Thanks, Steve. Let us do its thing. I opened the doors, maybe I paused it for a second. Wow, that's actually quite quick rising. That air suspension is shooting up. Look at that!
That's a lot of additional rise.
That is, wow, and the speed, you can actually, sometimes it takes so long from the rise up. Look at that thing.
And it kept the rake too.
Yeah.
It didn't re-pitch it.
It's a lot more. We got the off-road tires on this one, Goodyear Wranglers. This thing is fun. This thing is really growing on me. Let's take a look at some of the exterior styling. So we have the Defender blacked out lettering here on the hood, the Land Rover logo here. Got the DRLs on right now, so they have like this half circle look with the two little kind of square off pieces there, and that theme is also echoed around back. It is still a boxy design, but it's been rounded off a bit compared to the previous generation Defenders. The silver and black two-tone contrast does look pretty cool. This one is optioned here with 20-inch wheels with the upgraded off-road tires. And there's a lot of really cool textures all over the exterior of the Defender. So the grille up front has these rounded off square patterns. And you see the circular pattern here on the lower, smaller circles around those fog lamps. See some radiator cooling behind there. And then we have this, it is plastic, but it's kind of like that, the textured metal thing that you'd see like a stamped metal for better grip. That's a decorational piece, kind of throwback to older Defenders. More of that grille here on the side with a little Defender lettering there. Blacked out side mirrors. And we have the floating, I forget what they call this thing, but you can get this, I think in body color too, which this is body color silver, or you can get it blacked out. Another Land Rover badge there. I think it's a cool little touch. It adds some visual variety to that side back there. And then around back, I really love the taillights on the new Defender. Rounded off little, ooh, hello McLaren 750S. These are things that you just see at out of office garage. I think that car is for sale. Back to the Defender. So like the rounded square taillights, the large ones and the little tiny ones outboard. It's a really, really cool touch. We have the full-size spare back here, and this one has the cover. So painted body color silver, Defender lettering here. This side you see Defender P400. The base one, P300, has the Turbo 4, and then you go up to the P500 or 525 for the V8. And the tailgate here, you can swing it open. The rear glass looks like it's fixed, so the glass cannot go down or come out like that. But we got the side opening tailgate. Close that. And yeah, these taillights are really, really cool. This is a relatively, I guess, ordinary looking Defender road going version, because you can get the whole crazy Explorer pack, which has the roof rack, you can have a snorkel, you have like the side, everything. This one is just kind of normally spec'd. It still looks really cool. It's definitely distinctive, unique. I'm a fan of this. When it first came out, I know some people were like, oh, it looks like a Honda Element. Oh, it looks like a Kia Soul or a Ford Bronco or whatever. But I personally am a fan of the design of this. We need to see what my girlfriend thinks, though, because when I first sent her a picture, she said she didn't really like how boxy it was, so we'll get her opinion soon. I know I'm starting to like the car or SUV, whatever it is that I'm driving, when I go to the configurator and start building one out like the way I would want one. So I built out a 110, but then I built a 90, the two-door with the V8, the P525, and I was like, ooh, this could be pretty cool. So that's kind of how I could tell that the Defender is really, really growing on me. And you see how short the front and rear overhangs are on the Defender, which improves approach and departure angles. We're not off-roading it this week, just living it day to day, but I know for a fact that with all the tech, this thing is definitely capable off-road. Now that we have spent some time getting to know the Defender 110, let's give it a mini review. So when this generation first came out, there was a bit of controversy because it was no longer a body-on-frame truck like the old Defenders. It was a unibody construction with independent suspension, and all the purists lost their minds. But don't worry, Land Rover made sure this is still fully capable and lives up to its name. It's an aluminum construction, although because it's a Land Rover, I should probably say aluminium construction, based off the D7X platform, where the X stands for extreme. This aluminum construction, it makes it the stiffest Land Rover ever made. So, you know, they properly tested this and it has the capabilities. This one here is the P400. So it has a 3-liter turbocharged inline-6, but it's a mild hybrid setup, so it has an electrically assisted supercharger that fills in before the turbo spools up. So it's got both a supercharger and a turbocharger. That's a lot. 395 horsepower, 406 pound-feet of torque. There is a base engine, a 2-liter turbo 4. That's the P300. That makes 296 horsepower. There are diesel offerings, but we don't get those here in America. And then at the top, we have the 5-liter supercharged V8, the Jag Land Rover V8 that we know and love, the P500 and the P525. 8-speed automatic transmission, the ZF-sourced one, permanent all-wheel drive, and of course we have 2-speed transfer case, we have locking differentials and so forth, all the off-road credentials, adjustable height air suspension. In terms of exterior styling, this is the 110, which sits in the middle. We have the 90, the 110, and the 130. 90 is a little 2-door one, 110 sits in the middle, and 130 is the bigger one, but that one kind of looks like a 110 wearing a backpack to me. I don't love the way that one looks. Nice sweet spot here, and you'll note short front and rear overhangs. That's really good for off-road. Adjustable height air suspension, I mentioned that. We have off-road tires. This one's on 20-inch wheels. You can go up to 22s on these. When these first came out, the styling was also a little controversial. Some people loved it, some people hated it. I think it's cool. It's definitely growing on me. It's unique. I especially love the rear 3/4 angle. The lights in the back, the tail lights, little like rounded squares, the full-size spare tire, I think is cool. You can also kit this thing out with all the accessory packs, Explorer packs, roof racks, side stuff, ladders, whatever, right? To make it look the part. But with that, let's hop inside and take it for a drive and share some thoughts, mainly because I'm getting really cold. It's supposed to be spring and for some reason it's snowing today. So let's hop in the Defender and go for a drive. We have the shifter mounted there. Everything is kind of up here because when this first came out, you get that jump seat. So there's like a third seat in the middle, but I don't know, for maybe a child, but if a child is small enough to fit in that seat, they probably shouldn't be sitting up front. Regardless, this one has the full normal center console, but all like the buttons and controls are still up here. Shifter is here and drive, and let's head off. This Defender has really charmed me this week. It's just one of those vehicles that is fun. It's fun around town. I know this would definitely be fun off-roading. It's got a blend of tech creature comforts and rugged utility, but not over the top in either direction. It's just this nice medium place, right? So in the interior, we have screens. We have a full digital cluster. We have a nice sized touchscreen here. The first thing actually my girlfriend noticed when she hopped in the Defender was, oh, that's actually not that big of a screen. And I was telling her, that's a good thing to me, right? It's got everything I would need. CarPlay is running, we've got wireless CarPlay, it has Android Auto supported, it's got nice built-in information on all your off-road stuff, the cameras are great, but it's not overwhelming the interior. You don't need a passenger screen and a secondary touchscreen, like stuff like that. So from that regard, I think it's a nice blend. We have physical buttons still, right? We've got these 2 toggles for your climate. So right now this is temperature, but if I push it once, that becomes my heated seats, which I'm actually going to turn on because it's cold out. Heated and cooled seats on this one. And then there's another set of functions. If you press this button or this button, this one here turns the fan speed knob on the right, and then this one here on the left is now your drive modes, which pops up on the bottom of the touchscreen. There are a lot of drive modes. We've got, and let me pull them back up again. We've got Eco, Comfort, Gravel, Snow, Grass, Mud Ruts, there's Sand, there's Wade, there's Rock Crawl, and what's that last one? Configurable, right? So there are a lot of them, and you can also see that they're all for off-roading. That is the intent of this vehicle. For on-road, it's really just comfort. You don't have a sport mode. There's no race mode. This is not a SVR style vehicle, right? This is a drive around town, normal roads, and then go conquer whatever terrain you possibly want. So all of the electronic assistance things, for every one of those parameters, every one of those different drive modes would change all these parameters, probably from suspension to how traction stability is operating to how power is being sent and differentials and so forth. But my perception of this around town on the road is it's actually a really, really good daily driver. Sometimes you get off-road focused vehicles and they're compromised for day to day. We'll talk a bit more about competitors later on, but Bronco and Wrangler are 2 great examples. They're like lifestyle fun toys where they bring a lot of that fun factor, but when you really think about it as like a day-to-day road car on the freeway, they kind of suck. Wind noise, road noise, steering input, how it rides, it's not great, especially if you put bigger tires on it. This may have the off-road tire pack, but with the air suspension, how it's set up, it's quite comfortable. You've got a good amount of body roll, but that's acceptable, and it means it's just very nice to use as a daily driver. I've really enjoyed having this as a daily driver. Let's talk about the powertrain a bit. So this sits in the middle of the lineup, the P400 mild hybrid. You do get this huge surge of power between 2,000 and 3,000 RPM, like a torque surge, right? So most of the time when you're just around town, you live in that zone and it's really nice. It's not the most linear feeling. I remember the first time I got it, you'd start tipping on throttle, go, and all of a sudden you're like, whoa, okay. It makes it feel very torquey and powerful, but it's not a super linear setup. Now, do I want the supercharged V8? Absolutely. I was sitting there configuring a Defender 90 with the V8, and I was like, of course I would do the 5-liter supercharged V8. That thing is either right under 500 horsepower, and then there's a version that's 518 horsepower, I think, and it sounds absolutely ridiculous. But even with just the inline 6, it's decently quick. I think they was tested 0 to 60 in the mid 6s range. The problem is it does have quite a lot of weight. These are pretty heavy. I'm not sure how they ended up so heavy, but it's decent. I mean, a lot of hardware, right? Air suspension, you have compressors for that, you got diffs, and you got all the different things that add up for a lot more weight. But around town driving day to day, at no point that I feel like this has been underpowered. Passing power is definitely sufficient. When I go down to the smaller 2-liter, I'm not a huge fan. In my experience, when you start going to the little small displacement turbo, very heavily turbocharged smaller engines, they're usually trying so much harder to do the same thing. So on paper, it might make comparable power, and 0 to 60 is fine, but it feels like it's more effort. So this is a nice sweet spot. Again, I wish we could get diesels here. As far as I could see on the configurator, we do not get the diesels here. So I think that would probably be really nice. Very commanding view of the road. Like the presence is very nice there. You have a very high vantage point, even in just normal suspension height. When you put it in off-road mode, it's pretty funny to drive around like that too. It's like you're on stilts. Yeah, going through roundabouts, I like it gives you nice body roll, and it's also the feeling that you don't need to worry about anything. If you live in Michigan, you know our roads are abysmal. Like, the surface of the moon is smoother. And I myself, I actually got so fed up with like damaging wheels and tires, with potholes and cracks and craters, that I got like a truck. But with something like this, again, I just reminded like, yeah, I don't need to worry. I can just drive wherever, and it's gonna handle everything that the terrible state of Michigan infrastructure wants to throw at it without a single problem. Some more of the off-road credentials that we have. So this has 11.5 inches of ground clearance, which is comparable to a Bronco Wildtrak with the Sasquatch package, and just a little bit more than a Wrangler Rubicon, actually. we have the wade sensing is really cool. So we have ultrasonic sensors on the underside of the side view mirrors. So when you're driving through water, it can live detect. So right now I'm in the off-road page. There's this wade sensing page, and it will determine how deep it is and tell you you can or cannot go through that water live. So again, the implementation of technology, total polar opposite of what the old Defender would be, which was just kind of hardcore mechanical stuff. We're in the modern era, and Land Rover stuffed this full of so much technology. It can wade through just under 3 feet of water. It's like 35.4 inches of water, which that would probably be quite a lot of fun and a little bit nerve-wracking. I haven't really gone through like super deep water like that. Speaking of more technology, the cameras. A lot of cameras and a lot of really cool features. Actually, I'm getting really hot. The heated seats on this are strong. Like, you know they're strong when you have to like turn them down after like a couple minutes because your butt is getting way too warm. But back to the cameras, right? It's got the thing where you can make the hood transparent so you can see where the wheels are for positioning, all the different side angles to see where your wheels are, surround view, back up, front. They're all pretty good resolution. And yes, they're for off-roading. That's why this has so many view angles. But in day-to-day usage, it's also helpful, right? If you're parking, going through a drive-through, it just pulls up, quick tap. Okay, yeah, I'm clear. If you're going through a Starbucks drive-through or something like that, which sadly, probably most Defenders spend most of their lives doing that. I hope people take these things off-roading. The road manners, I was also quite impressed with. I've touched on the ride quality, comfortable. Wind noise, road noise is actually not as bad as I thought. Again, a lot of these off-road things, right? The wind is just howling all through the cabin. If you have the soft top, which you can get on this and similarly other soft top ones, it would definitely be worse. But this is the fixed top, the glass roof there, and the fact that it has a little bit of aero sculpting, I guess, is not exactly a brick per se, but wind noise isn't that bad. I actually rolled the window down to check if it had like double laminated glass, and it just looks like normal. You also have a door frame, which probably helps. It's not like the frameless windows. Regardless, I was quite impressed. With that caveat, apparently if you get like the roof rack, it's just like wind noise city. Apparently it's absolutely terrible if you get the roof rack, but that's a trade-off for having a roof rack and doing those kind of roof rack things, right? What else? Interior is cool. We've got nice leather. This has the extended leather pack, so it's got this like saddle brown leather, and we have this like textured walnut wood all over it. A lot of nice functionality, tons of storage. One little complaint about storage is they say like, yeah, you can put stuff there along the dash, behind the infotainment screen, down here in the middle. Not much of it is covered, just the center one. It's not huge right there. And if you're leaving valuables, I don't really want them to be just easily seen. So that's being super duper picky about something like that. I like the exposed little bolt heads. That's like they're just like little, I think hex bolts, but it just adds to the charm and feel. Like we got the structural magnesium beam spanning the interior where they leave it exposed. Defender, you can see it stamped right there, and the materials all feel very tough. Even the leather is fine, but like this stuff is like this rubberized feel. Got like vinyl and plastic and stuff like that. So not over the top luxury like a Range Rover you'd find, but it definitely still is much more premium than the lower market offerings. Another cool thing in the back, we have the Alpine windows, which are like little light windows along the side corners. Those are really cool. This is the 2-row. You can apparently put a 3-row and a 110, but from everything I've seen, don't, because who was going to want to sit in that back 3rd row? Like if you need that, get the 130. I personally would order, like I said, the 90. I think that one's really cool, but we have a pretty functional trunk back there. The liftgate swings out, which is cool. Rear visibility isn't great because of the spare tire and the 3 headrests back there, so it's not as easy to see out that rear window. You can get a digital rear view mirror, I think, so this one doesn't have an option, so I would definitely spec that on here. Let's talk about the pricing and value in competitors. So the base price of a Defender 110 is right around $60,000. This one is a slightly higher trim, so it went from about 70 to almost 90 grand. This has $20,000 in options on it, so just under $90,000. But what are we competing against? If you go to a less premium option, we're talking Bronco and Wrangler. The reason I say those are off-road capable, very capable vehicles, kind of used as like lifestyle things, but also they have some premium offerings. So a base Bronco is 40 grand. A Wild Track with a Sasquatch pack is 60 grand, right? So I would say that's pretty more comparable, especially capabilities and things like that. And you start getting nicer creature comforts. The Bronco Raptor, the Braptor, is right around $90,000. The Wrangler Rubicon starts at around 47 grand, but a Rubicon 392, the V8, the Hemi V8, that's like $90,000. So now you see kind of where this is stacking up. It's it's above the base stuff, but not quite the top tier stuff. So if I go up another tier, we're talking G-Wagon, right? A lot of people draw the comparison between this and the G-Wagon. G-Wagon has moved way further up market. Like a G550 is 140's starting price. That's again another thing that my girlfriend asked me. She goes, how much is a G-Wagon? How does it feel compared to this? And a G-Wagon definitely goes bougier, much more on the luxury and the nice leather inside. It's skinnier feeling, still plenty capable, but I think those probably even more so are being used as status symbols, I think. And then the Land Cruiser, that's the next thing. The Toyota Land Cruiser that's upcoming. That one sticks in my mind as something that could also be an interesting option. Not the same branding level per se as a Land Rover, right? We're talking a Ford, a Jeep, and a Toyota. Those are technically more mainstream brands, whereas Land Rover is luxury, going up against the more luxury brands. But do I think it's a good value? They've actually been holding really well. If you go take a look at how much like used Defenders are, they aren't depreciating crazy hard. You can go more entry level. You can go 110 with the 2-liter, the P300. They'll be a bit cheaper. I've seen plenty for sale in the 60s range. New, we're still talking new. And then the V8 ones, those get a bit more pricier. Those are like the 90s to low 100s. I think I built one out to 113. I was like, oh, that would be a really, really cool daily driver. A lot of fun. It's charming. I've said it a couple times, but I really have enjoyed driving this, and I know I like it when I go play around with the configurator and be like, would I want to have that as a daily for a little bit? That could be pretty fun. Oh, one final thing I do want to address is the reliability thing. I can already see all the comments, people going, it's a Land Rover, it's a Jaguar, it's a whatever, it's going to break down all the time, you get all these issues, don't own out of warranty, and I get it, right? These reputations that certain brands and cars have are typically merited because they had issues. Now, as we go into the modern era, those issues now seem to trend more towards electronic things. And I read on some of the forums, Defender owners, what were their real world experiences like. Some had it for a year, 2 years, 3 years, what was going wrong. And I did see some complaints about software problems, over their updates, both causing the problems, but then fixing them. Somebody said their satellite radio bricked and wouldn't work. Somebody said they were getting some weird warnings, but a trip to the dealership ensured that everything was fine, and an over-there update fixed it all. So software is going to be the bane of the existence of all cars going forward, because they just keep cramming more and more and more into these vehicles. This is a pretty complex vehicle. You have air suspension, adjustable height air suspension. You've got the different drive modes. We've got all the different cameras. So you keep that in mind. Any higher end car will cost more to own and maintain. These apparently hold value well, so at least you may not be losing all of your money due to depreciation. Certain ones still will hold. This probably holds value better than a Evoque ever did. So yeah, I just wanted to touch upon that point. But if you're looking for one of these, I like it. Need a V8 one though. Must have V8. That's always the answer. With that, we'll get back to the rest of the vlog, wrapping up our time living with the Defender 110. When your girlfriend is Canadian, you start going to Tim Hortons instead of Starbucks. And I got Timbits. It's okay, we're going to the gym later. You know, it figures I finished filming the review and then the sun decides to come out. We're gonna be home for a little bit. Defender's just kind of thrown in the driveway right now. So let's take a interior tour before we head back out later. Oh, it's still cold though. Oh my goodness. We'll start with the digital cluster. So the information in the middle is reconfigurable, and you use the steering wheel buttons on the left here. So right now that's the default mode, but if I press the middle one, this updates to arrows and they control everything here, which is pretty cool. So I can go to display layout, I could change that. We'll go into one dial, see it updates like that. So we have eco, comfort, and then as we go through all the different ones, you see the background is changing. Nice little touch there. I've shown you guys the cameras pretty extensively, so I like those a lot. And now going across the rest of the interior. So this is actually a structural magnesium beam that spans the interior, but this one's got it trimmed in leather. So on the edges, you can see here, yeah, this is all metal and it's got the bolts on it too. The door has the cool bolt heads exposed, more extended leather, all that tan leather, which I think is pretty cool. And everything feels so rugged. You can hear, this is metal. Is that painted body color, I think? Yeah, and then like everything seems to be pretty durable. Meridian surround sound system. Close that so it stops dinging at me. Even the steering wheel's got more of that textured plastic. Same thing here, Defender. And this is like a little shelf that you could put things like, I could probably put my water bottle. So I've got my pretty large water bottle in this bottom pocket here. Put it in here. and it's like rubberized, so like that's not moving. Even if I take turns, that's like not gonna scoot all over the place. USB-C port there, grab handle if you need to hold on to something. And you see also the door handles have the walnut wood that this one's option with. It's also here across the middle. Cup holders are nice. More storage space down here. USB-C, regular USB. And then more of that wood trim with the exposed bolts there. Center is trimmed in leather too. Storage is decent in there. And then wireless charging pad, which is convenient. The seats are fine. Standard seats. Nothing crazy about them. They're adjustable. They're heated and cooled. No massage or anything like that. I do like the big panoramic sunroof up there. Wow, the weather's actually looking pretty nice. The sun's coming out. And then back there you can see the little Alpine windows that let light in. Pretty cool touch. Big fan of that. And you can kind of see how rearward visibility isn't fantastic, even through that like rearview mirror. So you see there, digital rearview mirror definitely helps. So because of the headrest and that big full-size spare, let's hop in the second row now. Look out. Oh, I'm in. I put it in off-road ride height. I was not expecting that much of a drop coming down. To fold down the 60-40 split seats, I've got my backpack over there. You can see back the space back here. Actually, since I'm back here, might as well show you guys the tailgate all the way open. Oh, this is just this is the cover for the full-size spare back here. But this is like a plastic shell. The Defender lettering on there. Everything just feels so like rugged and durable, even underneath this rubber mat. We've got this like textured finish here. Got a outlet here on this side. Oh, can I make it more convenient? Yeah. Do I hold it? Okay, there we go. Yeah, the air suspension is dropping, so it would be much easier to load stuff into the trunk if you are vertically challenged. That's a funny shape. Even the back of these seats have that texture. Oh, there's a cup holder hiding back here. That must be for if you have the third row, because like when this is up, who in the world's accessing that cup holder? Rubberized mats down here. We have our second row climate settings. Got plenty of legroom, tons of headroom. That's definitely a perk of this very tall cabin, right? I have plentiful headroom here at 6'2". It's comfortable back here. I like it. I definitely like it. All right, Angel. Workout done.
All right, Eddie.
We just had a quite intense workout. It was awesome.
How long was it?
I think we're in there for 2 hours. The gym.
It was 2 hours?
Yeah. Well, car's cold again. That was a cold start. Good job. What do you think of the Land Rover Defender? You've been
I really like it.
You do?
I do. I'm not a fan of the exterior,
yes,
but I do like how tall it is.
Yeah.
And I feel like it commands presence on
yes,
the road.
What
Very spacious.
What did you say when you first hopped in?
That it's comparable to the G-Wagon?
No, after
No?
that. You're like,
I like it better.
you're like, Eddie, we need to get a Defender.
Oh yeah, yeah, we need to get one of these.
But you don't like the exterior styling.
I don't.
What about it?
I don't know. It just looks very, almost like, I want to say, archaic isn't the right word, but it just looks like a very old kind of style. It doesn't look very modern. At least that's my opinion of it.
Because they did modernize the looks, but I can see, because a G-Wagon is definitely archaic. If you park a brand new G-Wagon next to a 15-year-old G-Wagon, they look the same.
That is true.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just...
It's okay. Styling is very subjective.
Yeah, maybe if it's not in a silver color, like maybe if it's in a black.
Yeah.
Or an
so the one
all
we're gonna
white.
order is gonna be a 2-door supercharged V8 in like a dark gray.
2-door.
Yeah, the 90. It's really cool. It's even more fun.
I feel like
We
I
don't
like
need
it.
back seats.
Oh. Well, what if you're driving your parents around or?
I've got the A8.
Oh, okay, that's true.
And we don't have friends, so
That's
Actually,
true.
usually, yeah,
I don't have friends. You have friends.
you'll find out when all the car people go out,
Yeah.
everybody takes their own car.
Oh,
so there'll be 5
okay.
people and 5 cars, because that's how
boy.
we roll.
Yeah.
But you can be permanent passenger
Yeah,
princess.
not the most.
We like it.
efficient,
All right,
but
so
yeah.
so we got.
I do like it. It's pretty roomy.
Yes,
And I
all
like
that.
the feature where you can kind of what do you
Raise
like,
the air
raise
suspension?
yeah raise the suspension.
So you can drive over curbs.
Yes,
at will.
that's exactly what I said. I'm like,
I was-
okay, as long as I can drive over curves, that's a great feature.
I was showing Angel like air suspension, right? You can drive over stuff,
Yeah.
and through roundabouts are just cutting like pretty much straight across a roundabout.
Exactly. Yeah.
It was fun. Cool. I'm glad you like it. There we
Yeah,
go.
very
We got
good.
Angel's opinion on the Land Rover
Yes.
Defender.
I do like it more than the Mercedes and the Kia.
See, that's how I felt too.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
like it's for around town driving day to day. The Mercedes is obviously way faster. Remember that thing was
Right.
crazy quick, but it was also $50,000 more. So in Canadian, that's like probably like $120,000 more. Because Canadian maple bucks aren't worth anything. It's 17 gallons of maple syrup. Anyways, what?
Exactly that. But I was just gonna say, I think this is more practical.
Yeah.
For day to day.
I agree.
I think it's just overall more affordable, so it's
still
a
expensive.
better option, I think, for
all right,
the
we
average American Joe.
Yes. We might end up getting, well, not that average. It's still a pretty expensive Land Rover.
Valid.
Yeah.
Well, in comparison to like the Mercedes.
That's true.
Right.
You're right. Although the one I built out, the V8 two-door, was $113,000.
Okay.
So that's still pretty expensive.
Yeah.
Well, maybe we'll have a Defender someday. We'll see. All right.
Perhaps.
I need to go home and feed you because you're hungry. You didn't eat lunch. I gave you Timbits and that was it.
That was it.
We got Angel's opinion on the Land Rover Defender. Tomorrow morning, I gotta drop this off. I'm parking at the airport. I'm flying to New York City, and then you're flying there Friday, and then we'll be back. So short little weekend trip, and we'll wrap up final thoughts when we return from New York City.
Bye, everybody.
Back from my weekend trip to New York City, and to the Land Rover we go. I actually missed this thing when I was gone. Gonna go grab a quick dinner with my girlfriend, and we'll wrap up final thoughts on living with a Defender. A feature I think I've forgotten to mention is this does have auto hold, so I'm just kind of on the brake right now, but if I press it hard all the way down, you see the little green thing pops up for hold, and you can take your foot off the brake. Sometimes you use a button where it just turns on or off, but on this one, kind of like the Mercedes system, you just gotta give the brake pedal like all the way max pressure, and it'll auto hold for you when at a stoplight. All right, we are finally back home in my cocoon of warmth in the Defender because Mother Nature sucks and it's like 34 degrees outside. But this thing has such fantastically strong heated seats that like on level 3, I have to actually turn it down a little bit because it gets too hot. Heated steering wheel going. I really like the Defender. When I was gone in New York, I kept thinking about it. I'd see one and be like, you know what? That would be a cool daily driver. Now, my girlfriend Angel still doesn't like the way it looks. She liked everything else about it. She loved the interior, the way it feels on the road, like all of the stuff, the tech features. But she said it looked like an old calculator, which I thought that was kind of funny. So that illustrates the styling is definitely can be a little more polarizing per se. I personally like it. I would do a 90 probably, 90 V8, but even the 110 is pretty cool. So, but to me, myself, my opinion, how I feel about the Land Rover Defender, big fan. Big fan. Now, I highlighted some of the everybody's gonna say reliability. I posted some pictures on Facebook and I was like, you know you like a car when you start building it on a configurator. People commented, yeah, toe breaks down and my friend's engine seized and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, but when I looked at Defender forums, a lot of people were mainly just saying software stuff, right? Which is not discounting whatsoever, but that's better than like massive mechanical stuff. I won't say this is a bulletproof, reliable platform, right? This is not a Toyota Lexus, right? They don't have that reputation, but if you know that going in, you just be mentally prepared. Same thing happens with high-end German cars, right? You purchase either a used or a brand new German car, things can still go wrong. American cars have issues. Cars just have issues. It's getting more and more complex. Just be aware of that. Final numbers, I did 17.2 mpg average, so I think it'll be hard to actually hit it. And I wasn't driving like a complete idiot most of the time, right? I was averaging like high 16s most of the time and I had a freeway stint to the airport and back. That made it go up a bit. But I think the interior is really cool. It's got personality. It rides very comfortably. It's surprisingly quiet for something that does sort of have the aerodynamic properties of a brick. It's very tall, right? So you think you get a lot of wind noise around. If you get the roof rack, apparently it makes it really, really bad in terms of wind noise. This one doesn't have that, but adjustable height air suspension, you know this will go off-road. I would have a lot of fun off-roading these. So maybe this summer I'll get one and take it off-roading and play around with all the different tech features like that. But my final verdict is I really like it. And I could see myself having this as my SUV daily driver because it checks the box of like off-road capability fun. I love like Broncos and like the Wrangler 392 and the Bronco Raptor. Like those things are a lot of fun too, but they don't have like the fancier creature comforts. This has the luxury, the nice material touches and so forth, and it still brings that off-road credibility and things like that. So yeah, Defender absolutely won me over. I'm quite a big fan. This was a fun week living with it. I'll be sad to see this one go, but have more cars to drive coming up next. Hope you guys enjoyed this vlog living with the Land Rover Defender 110 inline 6, so P400. I will try my best to find a V8 one to spend some time with because who doesn't love supercharged V8 noises? Thanks for watching.